Geek Tank is submitted by listeners like you.
Get your Uru hammers and your nailer guns, a sonic screwdriver or a sword plus one. Use Valerian steel, it'll get you. Come to the Geek Tank, to the Geek Tank, to the Geek Tank. The Rocky Mountain Geek Tank.
Hi, I'm Guy.
Hi, I'm Troy.
Hi, I'm Chelsea.
And this is Geek Tank Live.
Your media pass-sized podcast.
Now with extra convention types.
So we're here broadcasting live from Denver, Colorado, from our favorite Starbucks at First and Wadsworth. And as you know the drill, you can join us on Facebook if you want to at our webpage at Rocky Mountain Geek Tank. And if you're not there, that's also good. You can catch our podcast, which will be there, which you can find at www.rockymountaingeektank.com. So, today we're talking about
what conventions you should attend this year and what they're like and what happens.
Convention attention.
Yes, because we have a lot of conventions here in Denver.
We do.
Oh my God, I'm always floored by how many conventions we have.
More than we can keep up with.
Yeah, well, you know, this is always one of those things that makes me kind of happy.
Not bloaty.
No.
Okay.
But
You don't have convention retention.
I think about this. No, I was convention retention, but I took pills, like
okay.
pills. That gets rid
That helps.
of that.
Okay.
And
I went to the juicer.
Yeah, well,
Willy Wonka sent me to the juicer.
Willy Wonka, and now you're squished.
Yep.
Well, you were blue earlier. I was worried about you.
So to speak.
I'm glad you've gotten better.
Oh yeah, me too.
So the so when I was younger, there was like 3.
Yeah.
There was like, I mean, heck, when I was in 1984, there was 2. There was 2, but I didn't know about the other one
Because the internet didn't exist.
Yeah, the internet didn't exist, so all I had was
Word of mouth and
was
fanzines.
StarCon. That's it. I had StarCon.
StarCon, back when it was still called StarCon.
Back when it was StarCon.
Didn't they have a Star Trek style convention at one of the malls up in Westminster? I thought I remember seeing like old video footage of a convention being held at the mall, Westminster Mall.
No.
I'll have to look that up. I thought somebody posted that, and I thought that was pretty crazy because it was way before I lived here.
Yeah, well, if you do, show me.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember.
I remember somebody posted it online. I thought it was you, but
find that for me.
Yeah,
because
I
I would love to. Because I would be like, retro me would be upset for not going.
Well, how could you have known?
Right, exactly. There was no internet. We just talked about that.
So we're going to talk about the first 3 conventions in April. And they all appear on the same weekend, which is so unfortunate.
Especially for us.
But it is what it is. To start it off, Pikes Peak Gamers Convention is April 12th through the 14th in Manitou Springs. It's their second year. They'll have 800 board games for guests, vendors, essentially a big open space to game in. It's essentially gamer heaven. You also have DINK, which is Denver Indie Comics and Art Expo. That's April 13th and the 14th at the McNichols Civic Center. And it says this is an event that celebrates artists, writers, creators, sign makers, graffiti artists, tattoo artists, and publishers from around the world.
The important thing about DINK, by the way, I just wanted to pop this in real quick, is they're going to have Bill Ahmed there, who's the artist from Foxtrot. The comic strip Foxtrot.
Yeah.
One of my son's personal favorite comic artists after me. He loves Springs first, but after Springs, he's told me, is Foxtrot, which cracks me up.
My friend Daniel is like one of the main people that runs DINK, and he's an artist, and he...
Daniel Crozier?
Yes, and he does... I met him whenever... I'll tell the story about how I met him after we finish the April ones real quick.
Oh, okay. You could just go ahead and do it
Fine,
now.
I will. So, in any case... a long time ago,
Crozier,
he was running a experimental music performance group similar to Guar. I'm so used to having to be here because
don't have to be there.
we have the soundboard now. I don't have to do that. So he was running a thing like Guar, which was like a performance, over-the-top performance musical type thing, and he had posted that he was looking for sword fighters, and that's all that it said. So when I saw an ad saying looking for sword fighters, I'm like, cool, I'll go see what this is about. Then he needed people to help choreograph the sword fight scenes, so I helped him and his team come up with the sword fight scenes in his performance.
So he didn't need sing fighters. He
No,
needed sword fighters.
he needs
He
sword,
needs sword
fighters.
fighters.
And they had all the blood spray
Sword.
effects and the hacked off arms and everything. And it was
I
a
didn't
lot of
realize
fun.
You've known him that far back because this is another one of those weird things where you knew somebody from over here and I knew somebody from over here, and then we're both
Right.
like, interviewing the guy
Overlap.
at Dink, and I'm like, hey man, good to see you, and he's like, hey man, good to see you, and I'm like,
How do you know him?
How do you know my friend?
We've been hacking up corpses for years.
I know. It's like this happens a lot in our world. It's a small community actually. It's because it's a very small geek community is a small community, but
It
yeah,
is.
it's interesting.
It's a small world here.
And then we have
And then the last one is only on April 14th. It's the Rocky Mountain Con Comic Collectors Showcase. Rocky Mountain Con is kind of a sweet little convention, very near and dear to the people of Aurora in particular. It started,
single day.
yeah,
it's
just
a
a
single
single day, really quick convention. They donate a portion of their proceeds and have them go to people that need it. When it was started, it was actually to support the victims of the families in the Aurora shooting. So it's really sweet and near and dear.
Aurora Rise.
Fantastic little convention.
And they're very reasonably priced. I was noticing there's like pre-sales are $5 and then at the door is $10.
Yeah, and you can always donate more. So,
Right.
So of these like 3 conventions, Pikes Peak Gamers Convention I haven't been to. It is still a new con, so it's probably a little bit on the smaller to medium size scale. Geek is going towards medium. It's getting bigger and bigger every year.
It's Crozier's doing pretty good at that.
Yeah.
It's Crozier and somebody else. I can't remember who the other guy is. I'm sorry, but I've never met you, so. I
Well,
apologize.
even if you had met him, you suck at names. So
I suck at names, you'd be like Bob, like everybody whose name is Bob.
And everybody whose name is Bob. And then Rocky Mountain Con is a smaller convention, but it's a tight-knit geek fest. It's mainly usually, the last time I went, it was just one room. I think that was 2 years ago when I could make it, because it's on such a strange day. But it's in one big room in the long hallway hotel, which you'll know what I mean if you've been to the long hallway hotel. If you don't, grab somebody who's been to lots of cons and have them tell you the stories of the long hallway, because it's fantastic and fun. The next weekend, Colorado Anime Fest. They are back. They are celebrating all things Japan in the Mile High City, and they are getting larger and larger every year.
it was a lot of fun last
Which is
year. You got to
awesome.
interview Sailor Jupiter.
Did.
Was that the? I'm not as big of a fan, so I'm not sure I was naming the right one.
No, you're good. Yeah, she was fantastic to interview. We've got a couple of those interviews. Amanda.
Hug and kiss.
Hug and kiss.
If you put me on the spot like that.
No, I'm not gonna put you on the spot like that. So yeah, anyway, yeah.
Amanda Miller.
Miller.
I had it on the tip of my tongue. I just wanted to double check. But yes, she is
just so
Sailor
you
Jupiter.
know, I remembered Amanda.
And she's fantastic and so funny and so sweet. So definitely check out that interview. Let me know what you think. They have a lot of new guests this year that I don't know, and I feel very ashamed. But we'll
we have
see.
our homework cut out for
Yeah,
us.
we do. So we'll see who we get this year. We'll see who we're able to interview, and we will send that out for you guys to take a look and decide how good that was. There's another one. Hang on. I need to find the dates for that one. Okay. So that's... So the following weekend, Starfest Denver, April 26th through the 28th. That's at the Denver Marriott in the Tech Center. It is a huge convention. I shouldn't say huge. Like, in my mind, it's grown so much from what it was because it's one of the first conventions I attended. But it's a lot of smaller cons with a larger sci-fi convention bubble.
Right.
And so
it's
just got so much going on.
That's the impressive thing about it, because it encompasses Art Fest, Comic Fest, Cosplay, Game Fest, Klingon Fest, Model Fest, RoboCon, Science Fest, and Starfest.
And Avastrom,
And
the Harry Potter group, which
Right.
is also super, super fun.
so they just, it's everything. So they have whatever your geekdom is, they probably have it.
If you haven't looked at the guest list from that, take a look. I'm hoping we get all the interviews that we want.
Because what we do have on that one is definitely William Shatner, Captain Kirk himself.
Definitely
And
Nichelle Nichols.
Nichelle Nichols.
We're really
And,
hoping to get interviews with them.
I just was looking at him. Why can't I remember his cute little face?
Oh,
Ben Browder.
Scott Grimes.
Ben Browder is coming
Oh.
back. I love Ben Browder. Ben
Scott-
Browder was so sweet.
We're both doing Scott
But,
Grimes.
but
Grimes.
Scott Grimes, I do want to interview Scott Grimes. I was really disappointed when I wasn't able to last year, but like they announced it well beforehand, so it was like,
Yeah, I believe the way we
It's gonna
broke it
be
up
okay.
is if we get it, you're going to interview Nichols, I'm going to try to interview Shatner, and you're going to try to interview Grimes.
yeah, now Ben Browder because he's
Okay.
cute.
And I'll take Grimes if we need to.
I want Grimes.
She's like,
Oh,
you
you're a
can't.
hog.
You
Yeah.
made me do like all of them last year. Excuse
true.
you.
Well, if you think about
It
it,
was terrifying.
Grimes
she looks the
and
pretty.
Browder.
She looks the prettiest out of the three of us.
That's
so.
actually true. To be fair,
We had some great interviews at Starfest last year.
We really
some
did.
really great
we
interviews.
really
It was
did.
They're-
kind
they're-
of
all jokes aside, the only one really that I need to do is Nichelle Nichols because I actually that's one of those stories. I was her watcher during
She was a Slayer.
yes.
Wow. Well, if anybody's
Trust
a Slayer, she's
It's
a Slayer.
Nichelle Nichols.
Yeah.
But I was her watcher at Mile High Con a long time ago,
Gotcha.
and so.
Oh, that'll be a sweet reunion.
Yeah, so I really wouldn't, because everybody has to have like somebody watching them, otherwise the crowds will
The
go-
fans
Surge
get
and
nuts.
Yeah, the
grab
fans
them.
get nuts,
But
so-
Nichelle is like so sweet.
Right, so I'm hoping that I can interview her one more time because this is her farewell tour, and this is it. This is 2019's all. She's retiring after
So
this.
this is for all the coconut shekels.
Right. This is for all
You
of
better
us.
be
so-
prepared.
What I love about
That's what I'm hoping
Starfest is they have a team specifically for handling all of their media teams, and they do an amazing job. So it's
Their
Right,
media
great.
people, like their guest relations people, are so fantastic. They are so good with the fan meetups, the autographs, the photographs, everything. It is a well-oiled machine,
Right.
and that's really difficult for a convention of this size. So
No, I don't have.
I really appreciate
I don't have
them.
a lot of hope on us getting in with the captain himself, but we
I
can
will just be
always
like
hope.
screaming from the side of the room if it
I know.
happens.
That's why you get to do it because I
Right.
know that
We're just gonna
Shatner-
melt.
He'll mess with the
Yeah,
interviewee.
there's no way I could make it through a Shatner interview. I wouldn't make it through a Shatner
So we'll
interview.
see. There is another convention, and this is a board gaming convention. It's April 25th through the 28th, and this is at the Homewood Suites by Hilton Denver International Airport. It's called Tracks with 2 X's. So they are 18XX train games, which I have not heard of before, but it sounds really cool. So I'm gonna send some people at that and see what happens because we're gonna
Yeah,
get
there's a whole
Turfest, so-
series. I think they call it the Steaming Billy train. I can't remember what it's called, but there's like a series of train games that's a tournament in itself, and you have to compete in each of those games, and your overall cumulative score is whether you move on or not. I forget what they're called now, but it's something like Steaming Billy or something else.
It sounds like
I
so
totally
cool,
forget.
though.
But yeah, there's so many train games like Ticket to Ride.
Oh, Ticket to Ride is so fun.
It is.
I love Ticket to Ride. I was like, oh. So I learned something new today when I was like doing some research because I had never heard of this before, but I definitely want to check it out. I will in the future. So that sounds super
Not
cool.
to be confused with the tracks with the 3 X's. That's a totally
Yeah,
different
no,
convention.
that's a club. It's
Or
fantastic.
Lex
Love
with
it.
2 X's, which is it?
And then, so merging over, we have Denver Pop Culture Con, which is May 31st to June 2nd. This is probably the largest con here, I would say. It is.
It is in fact the biggest convention in Denver. It's brutal.
It is.
So it is a name
huge.
change.
Shows from it.
Comics, cosplay, celebrity guests, panels, artists,
it's-
vendors,
it's the monster.
NASA. Like, oh my God, it's huge. Their guest list is still being announced. I can't even keep up with it anymore. I've definitely asked for information, so we'll see what happens there.
And
We
it-
generally don't like get information on that.
Well, they trickle it out, so you have to be part of their Facebook thing, and you can see all of them pop up. And it used to be Comic-Con, Denver Comic-Con.
But now it's
This-
They
Denver
have
Pop
changed
Culture
the
Con.
name.
Same convention, different name.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that has something to do with just they're trying to broaden their footprint. So trying to kind of make sure that they're no
Well,
longer
they
just
started with
comics.
Pop Culture Classroom, so this change totally makes sense because they merged with Pop Culture Classroom a little bit more.
Well, for those
It
who don't
makes
know,
some sense because like a lot of I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, for those who don't know, Pop Culture Classroom is an actual school that you can go to and do things like my son took a manga drawing class there.
Right.
So they actually teach you things related to pop culture.
Right. And one of the
Why aren't you teaching there?
I will be at Stanley Lake Library.
There you go.
I figured you would at some point.
One of the things that they're trying. One of the things I had said a while back was when Alita had come out, Battle Angel Alita. I was wondering why they didn't send that statue that's life size. Why they didn't send that around to the Comic Cons? I mean, because that thing was beautiful. I mean, that was gorgeous. And I was like, why wasn't that at the
I'm
center
guessing it
of
was
every
like
Comic Con?
so expensive to just travel around and upkeep as well.
Yeah, but DCC, SDCC, I mean, really? Some of the big ones? should have been at
SDCC is
those.
so packed. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I've heard nightmare stories about. See, I'm just bad with crowds. I don't like anything that big. To be honest, like DPCC is enough for me, and 2 days is fine. I'm quite content with that.
Yeah, but we still, that's why we make you do this.
Right?
We force you
Push you
against
out
your
of
will.
your comfort zone, and it's super fun. It's great. It's definitely exhausting though for me socially. I get peopled out pretty quick. I'm not gonna lie. So if I seem a little fried, that's why I'm just not used to that many people.
Well, even Troy and I have a hard time, and we're both extroverts, and we're a little fried out after DCC. It's not easy.
So if DPCC is not your thing, there's also CobbleCon in Colorado Springs. They are this April 26th through the 28th. So the same weekend. They're at the Chapel Hills Mall and Event Center. Super fun, tabletop games, role-playing games. Let me take a look at their guests. They've got a bunch of different guests.
Alita
They've
is
got
awesome.
some D&D guests.
I'm just saying that Alita is awesome. Just to add that, because we're getting in the chat room.
They have Beth
commentary.
Damas, who's the CFO of Penny Arcade, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
They've got Robert Schwalb, who is a game designer. So he's done contributions to Dungeons and Dragons, A Song of Ice and Fire role-playing, and Warhammer Fantasy roleplay. So they have some actually really cool guests. Oh my god.
So we've got some good stuff there
Yeah.
at CobbleCon. CobbleCon's actually not a bad convention in the like what's happening at that convention. The problem I've got with it, it's in the spring,
Yeah.
which is just far away.
Right.
I mean,
So-
there's absolutely nothing wrong with it being.
We
in the
just got to
spring,
make
it's
a
just far
field
away.
trip one year.
Yeah.
Maybe next year. We'll see how the dates overlap and
Yeah.
see if we can make a field trip because
'cause we
it
love
looks
those
really
guys.
fun.
We just need to
and
get
super
more
cool.
popular that conventions offer as a hotel room for the,
Right.
in addition to the media passes.
Well, then let's work on our media presence
Yep.
and social media presence and actually get things done. I'm just brief break.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm scheduling things. We're working on it.
So awesome.
Oh my god.
Awesome.
Sorry.
Moving along.
Tiny rant. All right. So we skip a bit. We skip forward a bit.
Fast forward.
To Myths and Legends Con, which is August 9th through the 11th.
Myths and Legends.
It's all about Myths and Legends. It's such a fun convention. It's a smaller convention, but it's a really tight-knit group of folks, and it's really easy to jump on board and meet new people and just have the greatest time there. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Firefly, Doctor Who, Game of Thrones, steampunk. They play Werewolf on Saturday night until the late hours of the morning, which is what every convention should honestly do. And it is so much fun. I really do feel really, really comfortable at this convention because of the size and because of the consideration of everybody around me. It really feels like a family con.
Yeah, this is
So-
the kind of con that my wife likes to go to.
Yeah.
So for you introverts out there,
For me and Mariah,
and you know
we're
who you
like,
are, but you won't tell me,
"Hey."
and that's okay. For you introverts out there, this is a good convention. It's another smaller one, which is good for the small groups of people who want to just not know Band
Which
together
also, the
individually.
ticket price reflects that too. So if you're on a budget, it's better to target one of the smaller ones. Something we didn't mention with like DPCC is if you want to talk to or get your picture taken with celebrities, it costs you money for each celebrity,
Oh yeah.
and it's usually really
they're
fast.
wrapping you
They
through
roll you
fast.
Honestly,
You're
I've
gonna be in
heard
line
though that it's
and-
really fantastic because I've seen the line between DPCC and Starfest. I used to work the photo line for Starfest, and you get the same amount of time. You get maybe a couple minutes maximum with each star. Autographs, it's a little easier to chat with them briefly and then grab something. Whereas with a photo, you're like, okay, what pose do you want? What's okay? Like, where can I put my hands? Is everything fine? Okay, good. Photo done. Do you want
I
me
have
to
to
sign
ask
it
that
later?
question
Cool.
with everyone. Where do I put my hands? So
When you don't
He
know what
does
to
it
do
with
with your
me
hands,
all
put
the
your hands
time.
up.
all the time,
Put your hands up.
I go up to strangers and ask them, "Where should I put my hands?"
Put your hands up.
You never,
Put your
you
hands
just don't know till you ask. But the nice thing with
Hands on your ass.
if they give me permission. And so the neat thing with Malcon is you get more of the local celebrities,
Right.
like local artists and
Local
authors.
authors who are
and
just so
they
fun
don't
to talk
charge
to.
typically to go talk to, and there's not really as big of a time limit as long as there's not a line,
Right.
and as long as you're being polite and not taking up all their time.
Yeah.
Which is good.
I think last year we had Jim Butcher, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We
yeah.
had some good ones.
Who is the author of the Dresden Files? Am I remembering the right guy?
Yes.
Let
Yeah.
me take
I believe
a
Jim Butcher's the
look.
author of the Dresden Files series.
We get things. So
I'm drinking
we
tea and not coffee. That's what I'm going to blame it on.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was correct.
Yes. We.
Oh, look at that
I
cover
mean,
art.
the thing is that like some of these things are. I mean, we've always had like Sue Duff, whom
Is
is
a
routine.
doll.
Yeah, she just continually
She's
comes
so
on
fun.
because she's a Trekkie, and so we keep like picking on her.
No, but she's so fantastic to talk to. She's just a great
wonderful.
person.
We love her, and so we'll pick on her for like putting her on the show because we're like, okay, time to pick on her, not because of your novels, not because of your experience, but because you're a fellow Trekkie, and I need to know what you think about Discovery. And so we'll start that mess, which always happens, and I'll find her at DCC or DPCC, and we'll like say, okay, Sue, so have you been watching season 2? And what's going to happen now? What do you think? And that's just like a thing. But that's, we also ran into, and who was that? Because it was, what was her name? Who was writing and the superhero's name was Sparkle Tits.
I knew you were
loved
going to
that
bring
one.
her up again.
I loved her.
She was so funny.
She was the best
And John
ever.
Sith was there, and he's fantastic.
Because it was funny.
Hang on.
It was the bestest ever.
I'm going to have to
Not
find...
really PG-13.
I
it was
Googled
wonderful.
Sparkle Tits, and I am a smart
Yeah,
person.
Don't do that. You'll,
Now do the image search.
Oh, no.
yes. Yes. So
I can't find her, but I have her
Well,
bookmark like literally
yeah,
sitting on my
and
side
she's got-
table.
yeah,
so.
she was wonderful.
We'll find
She
it.
was just so much fun.
And John Stith was great to talk to.
we
He's
get John Stith.
so incredibly kind and incredible, an incredible
I
author.
found I was
So.
in Conroe which is a little city outside of Houston,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in a used bookstore, and I found Manhattan Transfer, and I looked.
Not to be confused with the band.
Not to be confused.
No, we were like,
but
hey.
so I took a picture of it, and I was like, in the wild, and I tagged him. It was
Just randomly.
Because I was like, oh yeah, because I was totally found it sitting out in like a bookstore,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so cool. I mean, I do that whenever I see Chaz's work or Carolyn's work. Anytime I see my fellow author friends, when I see their work in the wild, it's so cool. Because I saw Carolyn and Chaz, I saw their stuff at a Second and Charles up in Boulder.
Nice.
And I was like, in the wild.
They have their stuff at Black and Red now too.
Sweet. Yeah, but that's not quite as in the wild.
Well, it's because we go there all the time. It's like our second home.
Right, but it's also, I think that they're buddies. So, I think they would likely do that just because they're buddies.
Gotcha.
And stuff. So I think that, so what I'm more interested in is like whenever it's like at a Second and Charles or a random bookstore somewhere, and you see their artwork, or they see their artwork, or see their books, then you're like,
Hey!
it's totally in the wild. It's so cool. And so I tagged him, and I was like, and he was like, thanks for posting this, guy. And I was like, hey, John, it's just so cool to see your work out there, man. Of course,
Especially because he's self-publishing as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, and he's self-republishing, so the fact that it was his new imprint was really awesome. So,
Good to see him out there.
so
All right, let's
Colorado
move
Springs.
to Colorado Springs Comic Con, which is August 23rd through the 25th. This is also at the Chapel Hills Mall Event Center. They are mostly a comic book convention, but they've got an anime voice actress, Jamie Marchi, coming, which is cool. It looks like they also have they have a tattoo enthusiast thing, so you can visit the Ink Fusion Tattoo Pavilion at the
Geek
convention and get
tattoos.
ink.
Oh,
not
fine.
happening.
Sorry. I have plans for sleeves.
Well, fine. It'll be on the butt cheek.
Like this sleeve right here.
I'm not getting an ass tattoo.
You don't want to get a little green tank on your butt.
No, I'm good. Thank you. Oh
So
my
we went
gosh.
there. And just as a side note, Chelsea is wearing this really cool Batman shirt, and it's getting a lot of attention on the chat room today.
Yes.
Yes.
So we were just noting that
It's because I'm Batman.
she's Batman today.
Batman. I can be a broody Bruce Wayne if I want to, but today I'm a 70s like chic chick. I don't know.
But tattoos?
No.
But
No.
tattoos? Oh, come
No.
on.
So is a Chelsea butt tattoo?
No.
Is that where we get tattoos of Chelsea on our
I have
butt?
a lot of
If
tattoos
we
planned,
did,
and they're in the
next time
list.
we do one of
So.
those movies where we have our
Our
butts, on
butts,
screen,
yeah.
it
Oh
would
my
be all like
God.
tattoos all the way across.
They're
Be
also
like ellipses.
they're also doing speed dating at the convention.
Usually they charge a fee for those, don't
I have a
they?
huge problem with speed dating at the convention, and it's not the convention's fault.
Okay.
I have a huge problem that they don't tend to charge women, or they charge them half the price that they charge men. I understand that they're trying to get even numbers, but I'm for the equality train. So make us all pay the same thing or don't. Also, don't give out fake numbers. It's not cool. I
Yeah.
have big problems with geek speed dating just because people are really mean to each other, and I'm really sick of it. So consider that your call out for the day. But regardless, Colorado Springs Comic Con itself looks really, really fun. They're still announcing guests. I mean, they're 163 days out. I'm watching their timer countdown out of the corner of my eye. So they've got more guests to still announce. So it'd be cool to just keep an eye on that and see who they've got.
Cool.
Nifty.
And then, near and dear.
So unfortunately, we're having the butt challenge going on now in the chat room, and people are walking into the wrong part of this.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just going to turn the other cheek.
There you go. This is not what it's cracked up to be.
On the whole, I'd say it is. All right, now we have our favorite convention, right? On your list. Speaking of butts, that's not a good segue, actually.
Doing really awful. The puns. My brain is so I can't even make puns today. That is how broken my brain is. I tried. My brain died. Anyway,
Your
the
brain's
next
puckering
con. That was a stretch.
It was. It's just like jeans.
Nobody asked you. Go ahead.
I'm just waiting for y'all to be done. Because the next
will
show I
never
have is
end.
ridiculously sexual. Not okay. All right. So the next convention, Non-DesuCon,
Yep, IndieCade.
which I love so much. I've been working that convention since I was 17 years old.
I've been working that convention since you were 17 years old.
I love it so much. So you can always say hi to me. I'm always in the dealer's room. Guy is in the museum.
I belong in the museum.
Troy is over in the gaming dojo.
The dojo.
So you can always come say hi, hang out, chat
Which,
a little bit.
as a result, we don't cover it as Geek Tank.
No, because we're busy working all weekend. It is probably the biggest event I look forward to, mainly because I see some people that I don't see normally only at NDK, and I love them to death. They are my little con family. So
Yeah, I was going to say, this
Shut up,
is
Eve.
our family thing. I mean, I've been
It's
working
so
IndieCade since
fun.
IndieCade 1, which is 22 years.
It wasn't even
Right.
a 24-hour convention.
I think NDK is the only weekend that I actually watch anime in the year. Because everybody's showing me things that I haven't seen, and so I'll get into series if I want to watch something, and then it'll slowly peter out.
I was just talking to the con chair just today.
Oh, yay!
And I was saying that I still have every intention of retiring. And she's like, that's great. So what was your plans? And I'm like, well, through 2025, I've got like long range plans. And she's like, so you were going to retire, right? And I'm like, shut up.
You know she loves
I just have to get the gaming section squared away, and then I've got to get this section squared away. And she's like, so you're retiring, right? And I'm like, and she's like, I'm like, shut up.
I know. As soon as I joined Geek Tank, it was like NDK is the only convention that I work now. And so it makes such a difference because I started with this con and then started volunteering with other conventions,
and so then we drafted you, and now you work all the other cons too.
I know.
Just the way it goes.
Yeah.
Although it's different work.
Yeah, it's a press badge instead of a staff badge, so
yeah.
I'll live with it.
It's kind of fun though. I kind of like the press side. It's not as stressful.
Way
once
less
we've gotten
stressful.
this
It's
thing
not as
figured
stressful,
out.
but like I go into mom mode at con. Like at NDK, I am in severe mom mode pretty much the entire time. Hey, hun, how you doing? Have you had water? Have you eaten? Have you been to the restroom? Have you showered? Did you get enough sleep? Like, how are you feeling? Just checking in. Let's go over this thing again. That's just my mode at NDK, and
You should just get that. You should just get that as a shirt. One of the cool things are about these conventions are those
Yeah.
awesome
Yeah.
donuts that
Yeah,
show
there's
up.
some great donuts at these conventions. We're just saying.
We're just saying, yeah,
Just
for
saying.
no particular
particular
There's a
reason.
reason why we
No.
would say that there's awesome
the
donuts
chat
at
has
this
nothing
convention.
to do with
What
this.
would those donuts be from?
They would be from Dungeons and Donuts, I would tell.
What was that again? What name?
Dungeons and Donuts.
Did you catch that name,
Have
Chelsea?
we had those before? What was
We
that
have
name?
had
Dungeons and Donuts.
It's some awesome donuts.
So if you're at a convention, you should ask them, hey, where's the Dungeons and Donuts place? And if they say they're not here, you should say, you should really get them because I heard they're delicious donuts.
They actually are, though.
They are.
They're really, and it's fun to watch them be made. Actually,
It is. It's really fun.
And they're like chibi donuts.
they really are. They're very.
So we're getting towards the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know why cons NDK used to be the last con of the year for me, but now it's Mile High Con because Mile High Con is October 18th through the 20th at the Hyatt Regency in the Denver Tech Center, and they have been around for 51 years.
Yep. This
Can
is the
you
granddaddy.
believe that? Like that is the granddaddy, special guests, art show, gaming area, vendors, cosplay, crazy fun activities. It is such a great community at Mile High Con as well.
It is.
It is the
That one's also.
the granddaddy
That's also
con.
a good one for introverts. If you're an introvert, that one's a good one to go to.
It's so cozy. Definitely,
because
definitely.
Our tech,
quiet.
Kevin, and myself have tried the past 2 years. I think we've succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
We've been trying to make it our annual thing to compete in the poker tournament that they have there. And so it's because they do the charity poker tournament at Mile High Con,
Yeah.
hosted by the Starship.
Yeah. Pioneer.
Thank you, Starship Pioneer. And
Pioneers.
so we've been trying to make that our annual thing. So if you're at Mile High Con, you can expect to see at least one of the Geek Tank folks in green jersey competing in the poker tournament.
Right. Go into the poker. Which is actually kind of cool because I think that I love that starships are doing stuff like that because that's always been one of those things that the 501st does a lot of stuff and it's nice to see that there's
Oh, they're so
'cause
cool.
It's nice to see that that's what Trekkies do.
Mm-hmm.
The starships get involved in these charity tournaments and charity poker, and that's kind of nice to see.
Well, and just having them there is a very big comfort. They do a lot of security for the event as well,
Yeah.
and that's really nice.
Yeah. So,
I have one more convention
one more convention
at the
for-
end of the year.
Back
It's
when
a
snow starts
convention that
again.
we haven't covered, mainly because it's an adult convention and it's an 18-plus anime convention. It's called DakuCon, and it is November 15th through the 17th. And this is anime, gaming, comic books, tabletop, and video game. And essentially, it's 18-plus content, adult-centric events and panels. So it's got, it's just for the adults. I feel like the reason this was created is Starfest for a little while was the adult con of the batch. Everyone went to Starfest to just be an adult and geek out and have a good time, and not just like a rauncous good time, like just to be adults and have fun, right? With other adults and not have a lot of children penning around. Starfest is now, a lot more families are coming because a lot of people have had kids, and it's adapted to the family-centric atmosphere. So Daku kind of took over. They specifically made an 18-plus convention. I think it's a great idea to have one of these in our area, just for if adults want to go to an adult-only convention. I know some people don't like kids, so that is for them.
Yeah. Is that supposed to be also like adult oriented? Like, is there adult comics? Do we know anything about Dakukon?
A little bit here and there from what I've heard. It is more adult centric.
I mean, just the fact that they're banning kids doesn't necessarily mean that they're necessarily like porn comics or anything like that.
No.
Yeah,
So
I think we had a timing issue last year, so we didn't get to cover it.
Well, we had discussed it, considering like the podcast is usually PG-13. It's kind of difficult to go to an 18-plus con and cover that. We might do that this year.
We just need to get some giant black poster board and hold it in front of anything that needs to be censored.
A lot of
It could
people
happen.
described it to me as conventions in the 70s and 80s. It was kind of that free atmosphere where people were comfortable and safe as adults, and that was fine. I don't know why I'm like explaining that and it sounds so sleazy. I don't mean to say that at all.
Yeah.
But everybody knows what I mean. I'm tired. I'm sleepy.
So now that we've finished that, let's talk a little bit about our some of the folks that we want to sponsor and talk about things.
Definitely. That is a fab idea.
So, obviously, our podcast is sponsored by Geekway Homes, and the reason that I'm not actually throwing to our bump is because all the tech
didn't
stuff I
prep
was
it?
doing, I didn't prep
we dealt with it. We added a new soundboard, and that was the end of it.
Yeah, I've been dinking with the soundboard
That's okay.
all
We're
evening, and
we're
so
kind of merging into a new.
I'm working on it.
world.
I'm working the soundboard and getting everything, but so we also have this wonderful artist that we met today who you can't read this because it's too far away.
Can I?
So you can move to like closer to it, and there we go. I don't know. That's closer, a little closer, a little closer, a little closer. Anyway, so this is a local artist, and his name is Yves Navant. He's published by Northwest Press, and he's going to be doing a Kickstarter at northwestpress.com/Kickstarter. And he's a wonderful little art. I mean, his art is incredible. We met him here. He's doing comics and a graphic novel. And I don't know why he's not at Dink, but he will be at DCC. So that's an important thing. So we've got that.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Beautiful art. He's also
we will-
covered in art as well.
Yeah,
His
yeah,
beautiful
it's got some
tattoos.
really cool sleeves. We also want to shout out to Dungeons and Donuts. Obviously, we were just making that comment because that was funny. But there we go. So those
That's
are
one of those cool things, like in the inner circle, where it's a common friend who wanted to start a donut business,
Yeah, we love
and
that.
it's
And he did. And
Yeah.
and it's a wonderful little show he's doing. Show.
you haven't had enough caffeine or donuts.
I need more donuts.
Yeah.
That's what I need is more donuts.
Did you shout out to Geekway Homes and I was asleep?
Yeah, I started out with
Okay.
Geekway Homes.
I was asleep.
So, but I don't think I said anything about where you can find Geekway Homes. So you can dial their phone number with a rotary phone at www.geekwayhomes.com.
All right. So the thing about conventions, make sure whichever convention you pick, do your research. They'll
Yep.
come up online, check out, see if they have an online planner so you can figure out what you want to go to and time your schedules. And definitely, if you're here in Colorado, definitely hydrate. Drink lots of water. Take some snacks with you. Take your water bottle. Make sure you have your chargers.
Don't carry everything on your back, please.
No.
You will die.
And leave extra room in your bag because you're going to probably buy stuff.
Yeah.
And a big deal, learn your con etiquette. If you're unfamiliar with convention etiquette, such as taking pictures with people in costume, You should learn this stuff. I think we might have done a whole episode on con etiquette.
We did.
So
We did. The Wrath of Con Etiquette.
The Wrath of Khan.
Etiquette.
Etiquette.
so those are
So,
my last tips there since we're talking about
and
conventions.
Faith, please.
Well, that should be a non-convention rule in
You
life.
think?
Or if you want to blend in,
Don't. But if you
But
don't want
don't-
to blend in, please
I
be.
recommend bathing.
Don't blend in.
Set an
So-
example.
For sure. Set an example. Say please and thank you. Say
Most
hi
of
to
our-
artists. Say hi to
most of our
dealers. Hi to
conventions
cosplayers.
will put out their schedules ahead of time. So look up the schedules ahead of time and
Because afterwards it'll do you no good.
right. Don't look at your schedule 3 days after the convention, it won't help you. But look ahead of time and plan out where you're going to be. Some of these conventions, for example, we just looked at the new Gaylord, and that's just obnoxious. It's like a frickin' half a mile to the parking
Are they going to
lot.
rent segways for people to get around? Golf carts?
I'm
We need to
gonna-
do rickshaws.
I'm just gonna start like riding on Chelsea's back.
We need to
That's what
do-
I'm
we
just
need to do,
Chelsea, take me to the other side of the building.
We need to do big wheel size
Yeah.
rickshaws. We need to get some big wheels,
My
put little
area
handles
head
on them.
is so excited for the Gaylord. Like there have been
Your
so many
area.
plans. My area head is
Yeah.
so stoked. Stop
So-
daring.
Well,
But
I'm just
I
saying that
see you
because
plotting.
Conventions are huge. DCC is massive, and so planning ahead will save you a ton of heartache.
yeah,
So if you need to know, and like some of this stuff we've learned, oh hey, this is a great panel we want to go to, and we'll go to the panel and find out it's been filled for 2 hours with
Oh
people
my
standing
God.
in line, and so you want to plan way ahead. On some
definitely
of
think
this
about your
stuff.
cosplay choices. Like if you're going to dress as Bayonetta with the high heels, that's a bad idea because of
Do
all the
not.
walking.
Yeah,
So
and if you're gonna dress as
I'm going to dress as Bayonetta, by the way.
right, well that's important. And if you're gonna
I joke.
Yes. Yes. So it depends on what you're doing. So
I broke guys' minds.
we also broke our transmission.
Oh no,
There we go.
No
There we go.
transmission's broken.
Back, and we have the secret to the air shield. So there we go. So that's I was gonna say if you're gonna do kick go common, remember not to do that.
Don't. The advice is don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't do kick go common.
Remember to check for like photo shoots because a lot of cosplayers like to do photo shoots. So always check that schedule. Definitely check and see the walking distance. Plan your breaks so that you can actually like take some time to yourself if you need to. Don't carry all your heavy merch around. That seems to be a big thing at cons is people like are carrying these huge bags full of merch and it's like put it in your room or your car.
Have a home base.
Have a home base for
Wherever
sure.
you are at your convention, have a home base. We have this problem all the time with DCC because home base.
I
is-
did not find you at all.
Yeah, home
Because
base
there was
is
no cell
difficult.
service.
There's no cell service. It's difficult, but have a home base also for your merch. Like when you purchase a whole bunch of stuff, where are you going to put it, right?
Yes.
So
Especially if you're dressed as Bayonetta.
yeah, or Keiko Kamen.
Cosplayers, I know you know this, but please don't stay up till 4 in the morning sewing something that needs to be done at 9. Says someone who has done this so many times.
I thought that was the only way to do it.
It's so stressful. And we all do it. I know we do. But just like plan ahead so that you're not super stressed out. You can ask for help. This community is really big and it's getting better and better every year, honestly. And there are a lot of people who are happy to help. And just remember to be happy with whatever costume you make. There's always going to be flaws that only you see because that's just human nature, right? But only you are going to see them, and it's fine. Just you do you. Be happy. Have fun. If you go like in casual cosplay, like I'm wearing a Batman shirt and I'm Batman today, okay?
I was worried you were going to go
don't-
non-PG-13
Don't
with that.
cosplay shame. No, I've been talking with Keiko Kamen. I've been non-PG-13 this entire time.
I don't think 90% of the people know that.
Yeah. Well, all they have to do is Google it, and that
Yeah.
will be.
If they could spell it.
We shall see.
So there you go.
Anyway, so yeah. Also, don't cosplay shame. Obviously, this is a big one. Some people are out there doing their thing, and it's not perfect.
Right.
And we were just talking about this. Kevin and I were just talking about this. We were saying we're never ever going to get around to finding the way to get people to do uniforms for us. So we've been both thinking we're going to just make Orville uniforms, and they're not going to be perfect, and they're not going to be awesome, and they're just. But you know what? We want Orville uniforms, so we're just going to do it.
Oh my God, yes, Orville uniforms.
And so we're just going to
super
go
fun.
out and they're going to be off color, and they're probably not going to be done right, and everything like that. So don't shame, because heck, we're going to fight over this stuff. But we wanted an Orville uniform for a long time, so we're going to go make Orville uniforms.
Also, remember to be super respectful to photographers, especially of their time. I know that, a lot of people like to book photography sessions, and sometimes they'll run over, but remember there are other people, and that photographer also has artistic freedom as well. It's kind of difficult when you're younger to realize that they also have their own ideas of what could work in a shoot from their perspective, and you have yours from your perspective, and it's best to blend the two and have fun.
Yeah.
And definitely check your cons policies, because some conventions have very specific areas designated for photos, and
For
other areas
sure.
you are not supposed to
Just
use.
so you can stay out of the way.
And don't photograph Geek Tank in the middle of a Geek Tank recording.
Or do, actually.
Super distracting.
Well, okay, let's put it this way. If you're going to photograph Geek Tank in the middle of a Geek Tank recording, you will be put in the middle of the recording. It will happen.
It will be a call out.
If you flash us, we'll flash
Welcome.
you back.
And it just gets ugly from there.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
So, okay. That seems like we
Do we know what we're doing next week? We don't, do we?
We don't have any
don't
clue what
know.
we're doing next
Okay.
week because we're clueless.
So tune in next week when we will talk about something we don't know what we're going to talk
Yeah,
about.
tune in.
Yeah.
We will be awesome.
And
it will be
I-
beautiful.
I
And
do
don't
want to
think
try
it won't.
and post on Mondays on our Facebook and our Twitter what we're talking about on Tuesdays, just so you guys have a heads up. So I will start posting that on Mondays if I can. Let you guys know. As always, leave feedback for us. Definitely check out our Patreon. It is new and updated and has nice, shiny new things. So take a look. If you can support us, we really, really do appreciate it. As always, you can chat with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and email us at...
Questions at RockyMountainGeekTank.com.
Yay!
Well, guys, that's all the time we have for our show today. Thank you for joining us. I've been Guy.
I've been Troy.
And I've been Chelsea.
And this is Geek Tank Live.
Bye. As always, you can email us at questions@RockyMountainGeekTank.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. We're Rocky Mountain Geek Tank. Feel free to join the conversation, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Geek Tank is a production of Foxblade Media and is protected under the Creative Commons 3.0 license. Your hosts today were Guy S. Davis, C. Troy Thorpe, and Chelsea Kramer. Kevin Weibler is our engineer, and our music was composed by David Coyle. Geek Tank is funded by listeners like you. Please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Foxblade.